thing about these meetings is I typically always record them and send them out to those that can't make it. So I am recording, by the way, now.
Well, I still feel very bad for you, Russ, of losing your computer with all of those superb.
Yeah, I tell you, that was a heartbreak for me. What he's talking about is that I did a lot of recording at the international convention, me and Nick and my membership team, and we had some great interviews with a lot of great optimists that talked about their defining moment and that moment in time that they got excited or got re-energized about why they were an optimist. And we had, I don't know, 60 of them. And I walked away from the computer for about 45 seconds, and I'm not even kidding. And I was talking to a young lady to come over and do a little recording. She said yes. I grabbed her by the arm. We walked over, and my computer was gone. So that was the heartbreak of it. But the really good news is I got a new computer, right? I mean, that's how you look at it, right?
So is that the optimism showing through, or the realist?
Well, a little of both, I think. I always said I needed a new one, but I was just too cheap to go out and buy one. So I was able to get a new one from Lenovo. So pretty pleased with it. Like I said, the saddest thing about it is, although I had to spend 15, 20 hours on the phone shutting every account down and financial thing that I had, that it was losing that recordings from people, and because they were just open and honest and talking about some really great things. So
we had a fundraiser that we just did with our Burlington, with all three of our clubs, our Joy Club, our Burlington Club, and our Awe Club. And so it was a Krispy Kreme donut fundraiser. And so they just came and did pickups. We think we recruited 2 new members.
Oh, wow. That's great. But I appreciate everybody coming in. I'll try and add people as they get on. I wanted to thank you for coming in again. Everybody in the organization, across the organization, is putting a lot of time, energy, and effort in to optimism and into membership and building the membership. And I want you to know that we, being the membership team, international, Mark Weinsoff, international president, appreciate your time, energy, and effort that you're putting in. It's been a difficult a year last year, and it's been a little slow to start this year because we're really just now, some of us, coming out of the pandemic and some getting to go back into face mask and things. So I want to let you know that we do appreciate you guys. And we're going to talk a little bit tonight about, where we're at, a couple of the things that some of the districts are doing. And I've asked a couple of our guests on the call tonight to talk a little bit about it. And so I wanted to just give you a couple numbers where we're at today, which is it. When you talk about numbers, it's a matter of perspective, right? I mean, net with international organization, we're minus 2,371 members. And that sounds bad, but if you want to put a positive spin on it, we only got to bring in like 1.002 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 optimists per club, and we'll be way over where we need to be. So it's always good to know that one member can make a difference in the life of a child, and one member can make a difference in the way that our organization grows. So that's good news, and I just wanted to let you know that. So I sent earlier to the local membership teams of the districts just a copy of the scoreboard, which is just our numbers rally. So I just wanted to let you know that should be in your mailbox. If not, send me a note or something, and I'll be glad to get it to you. I appreciate the governors that are on. We won't go through and introduce them all, but I appreciate you guys coming in. It's important that we all understand nothing's really easy these days, but we're working our way through it, and I appreciate y'all coming in. So, and I'm gonna take us through just a little short presentation. The presentation over to another person right there. So I'm going to give it a half a second. Does everybody see that? Where do we need to be? just if anybody sees it, shake a head or.
Yes.
Okay, good. So one of the things that President Mark has always talked about, and presidents coming in and presidents going out, is where we need to be in the last quarter, and this is really the quarter of success for us. So this is the time that we start to celebrate or start to put that final push in on the end of the year to make things happen. And we've all agreed over years and years of time that if we focus on achieving honor club status, that really falls in line and helps us with a lot of the requirements we need to keep Optimist International and your clubs and your local community strong. And so I wanted to mention that because, we believe that focusing on that, although it's not the only place that we got to focus, because we do deliver services and we are becoming more optimistic type of clubs, and it all makes a big difference to us. So we talk about achieving honor club status being a time-tested roadmap. If we just followed that, a lot of things would happen and everybody would be happy, and we'd be serving more children, and there'd be more happy members, and the communities be happy. So I just want to mention that it does help keep the attentions on the communities and the communities business at hand that we've got out there. So when Mark started off, he wanted us to be more optimistic clubs, and through being an optimistic club and sharing optimism, it makes it easier to share some of those items that we've got to run in. I'm just going to show this up here, and I'm going to send this out also to all the program members here. It's just the ICD 135 that talks about the honor club and what the perspective is. And so I'm going to talk about, now's the time. Now's the time. We're coming out of the pandemic. Some of us are, some of us aren't. Some of us are getting ready to go back into a quarantine, it looks like, and some of us are starting to wear the mask. And we're fortunate in Georgia that we're almost out, but we may have to start putting our mask back on. But now's the time. Last time we spoke, I mentioned that as we started our golf tournament for this year,
George on the hotspots.
we actually had the largest single participation of our Optimist fundraiser, the golf tournament, that we ever had. And that when we say now is the time, it's because people are ready, they're excited, and they want to get out and they want to serve because they've been through the bad stuff, right? They know where we've been, and they know the urgency and help that's required for our organization. So as we move into this last quarter, the quarter of success, we want to focus, more on growth as we did throughout the last quarter, because always we should focus on growth, right? But we don't want to focus it on so much that our individual membership gets tired of hearing it. So we don't preach it like we used to, but it still is a factor in our success in the organization. For growth, serving more members, serving more children. And what we'd like to do is ask that you, as a provider and leader in our organization, ask your membership, your presidents, talk to your lieutenant governors, and try and have at least one now a wow banquet before this 30th of September. So, I know it sounds funny, sounds strange, and sometimes it's a little difficult. But, we need to concentrate on bringing in, membership and doing it the way that we can. I keep getting a beep here because Becky Mahoney, I sure hope she makes it. She's been trying really hard to get in here. So I'm hoping she makes it in here. But we're asking that you bring to your organization, try and perform a now banquet. And today, everything that we do, is a now banquet. Everything that we do is a way to, engage the community. So that's the type of things that we're looking at, and we're trying to make happen through the year. So, we're looking at in the last quarter, where are we at? What are we doing? How can we make things happen? But, it's a little late in the game to do an unbelievably great marketing program. But I've got somebody who's going to share something with you and that they're doing from the Gateway District. But, the most important and most critical thing that every individual can do in our organization is promote our club through the word of mouth. And that's a pretty dynamic situation. So we're asking that everybody here ask all of the membership to promise himself to invite at least a guest to a club meeting or activity in the next 30 days. So we're not asking a lot, right? And we all know the importance of that. So we're asking you to, just remember, the district and clubs have the latitude of providing incentives for membership. I'd like to say Optimist International had millions of dollars and we could support and do all sorts of great incentives, but it's just not the reality of what our current situation is. So, we want to know that, I want you to know that the districts themselves, in this last 90 days or so, have that type of latitude. And some of these organizations, some of the districts are doing that, and they're doing a lot of things to make, the end of quarter a successful year for themselves, while honoring the direction of Honor Club and trying to provide some direction at the local level. So I think most of you may have known that the international organization has waived that $15 administrative fee for new members until September 30th. And we're driving, a few programs toward trying to, bring in some membership. A lot of times we go, maybe I'm done, but we're never really done. It's a you, them, they type of year. When we start with membership and end with membership and roll into the new year, it's all a successful thing for us to do. So a lot of times we got to talk about reality. We got to talk about incentives, and we got to talk about motivation. And this is just kind of a picture, what I call reality, because I never could tell whether this guy's looking down or he's looking up. But for us, as we go into the next 90 days, next 60 days, we need to focus as a membership organization. We need to identify and complete where our direction is. And we need to also do that in a real urgent fashion, as you can say. And followed up with that, you got motivation, right? And a lot of the motivation that we have as individuals is how we feel about the services that we perform. So never forget that motivation to everybody might be different. And those types of motivations are numerous, right? I mean, you think about a fear motivation, right? You've heard somebody say, "Oh my goodness, if we don't get more members, we won't be an organization later on." And that's a fear motivation, but it could be true, right? But the other types of motivation, really are those that where we have achievement and learning and aptitude and psychological. So there's a lot of things that we do. I like this little saying that Martin Luther King has over here, right? If you can fly, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So Martin Luther King said that. And in the next, 60, 90 days, I encourage you and I challenge you to not stop. Don't give up. It's amazing what can happen in a very short period of time. I think President Rebecca showed us a Kentucky Derby race one time where the horse was last and came in first. So there's always a good positive a chance for us to do what we need to do to get a member and make a difference in our organization. So, so with that, I was talking about some incentives that we had and that we could have and we need to do, but an incentive is just a reward that motivates and encourages someone to take some action. So I just wanted to give you this little bit of presentation to kind of get you going, to get you started. And I wanted to be able to first off, I want to see if anybody has any questions about any of that data that we just presented. And then we're going to move from there to Bruce Peace. I'm going to let him give a short presentation. So anybody got any questions or observations?
Yeah, Russ, when did we start the $10 or $15 fee waiver?
Yeah, it's been going on for believe it or not, it's been going on for a couple months now. So I think we did probably a poor job of getting that into the books and into everybody's hand, but that's been going on about the last quarter. So that's why I wanted to mention it, because I really wasn't aware of how much had been distributed and what the mechanism were for distribution.
Well, my treasurer was asking because that makes a difference about when we pay dues to the, or sending our dues to the district.
Uh-huh.
When we've had new members, we need to know which ones had the $15 fee and which ones didn't, as we brought in new members.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need the start date, when it actually started.
Yeah. I'll get that to you. And I do know that it does end on September 30th when the new year starts October 1st.
Yep.
It started 1st of June.
1st of June. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? I got to tell you, Becky's trying her hardest to get in there. She's tried about 37 times, so probably having a little bit of internet issues. But again, I'll send this recording out to everybody. It's out there. So I'm going to bring up this gateway. What I mentioned is, a lot of people are trying a lot of things in the last quarter, and Governor Albert and Bruce Peace, who is his membership chair, is willing to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Gateway District here in Georgia and Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. And Bruce, with that, if you don't mind, I'm going to let it go to you. Can everybody see what's going on in the Gateway District membership slide?
No.
No, you need, not yet, Russ. You need to switch over to that.
All right, let's see what I can do here. Share screen.
There you go.
All
There
right.
you go.
Good,
All right.
good. All right, so let me get it going from the beginning, if she'll get rolling here. All right, does that look like it?
That looks like it. You're on the right, Russ.
All right, so Bruce Peace is the membership chair for the Gateway District. He has graciously agreed to just take us through what he's doing in the last, and Bruce, if you'll just give me the direction, since I'm sharing it from my computer, I'll hit the button when you say hit the button.
All right, let's hit the button, Russ, and go to the first screen there, if you will. What we wanted to do is give our clubs an idea of where we were before we kind of rolled out what we were going to do as a competition. But so we're going to go through some slides real quickly because these pertain specifically to the Gateway District, but you can kind of see the format and the education process we went through with our teams, with our clubs. I will say up front, this is not something that I created. My club, the Rome Moon Optimist Club, created this. We've adapted it to make it a district-wide competition. And so there was some tweaking that we had to do, but I can't take all the credit. I want to give credit to where credit's due. So if you want to go to the next slide, Russ, this is some membership stats that we have. The Gateway District, of course, was down, and these were as of 7/14, was down 9% net. You can see some of our clubs, a little bit of history on the clubs that have lost members, gained members, net zero members, and also we made a note that we had 3 disbanded clubs this year. But again, the purpose of this is so all of the membership can understand where we are. Not all of them get a chance to hear this or go into Optimist Leader and this information, but we're trying to paint the picture of how important this membership is, growth is. So if you go to the next slide, Russ, this is just another way of capturing our snapshot since 2016 in the district. You can see we were fairly flat until 2019. Then this thing called COVID hit us. We dropped down 2021. Again, just historical data for presentation. Next slide. So why grow? If you ain't growing, you ain't you're dying. So we decided that this year has been kind of a double challenge for us. You know, we've got a lot of clubs like you guys, all you guys on here are struggling getting started back, but we had a lot of cleanup this year, and a lot of that was brought on because some clubs financially were unable to do some things they've done in the past. So I think it prompted a lot of cleaning up of the roles and cleaning up the rosters of people that we have carried a long time. So now what we want to do is kind of reset and start a new path. My theme all along this year has been healthy growth. What we want to do is, and I've been preaching this to the district, is we want to grow with members who are like-minded, who want to be with us for a while, and we know that we can count on them for the long term. You know, it's not a matter, like Russ said earlier, it's not just a matter of numbers. You know, we want to grow in numbers, but we want good, healthy membership, which promotes good, healthy clubs. So that's the growth we're looking at, and we're trying to integrate that healthy growth into all of our communications with the clubs. So Russ, if you'll go to the next, we'll get into the more into the growth idea with growing fresh ideas, new friends, more people to help clubs reach goals, and more people to impact our communities. That's kind of a value statement that we want to provide to our clubs so that they. Next slide. So how do we do it? As you know, we kind of parallel a little bit of Major League Baseball. You know, Major League Baseball is in the second part of the season now. We're in the fourth quarter, and as Russ said, this has always been our quarter to shine. So we decided to model it after Major League Baseball for Optimist International. But we don't call it Major League Baseball. We call it Members Love Building. And our clubs will be grouped into three divisions based on the club's A&A category, and each club will be considered a team. Now, you know, it wouldn't be quite fair to have a 140 member club competing with a 20 member club. So that's why we kind of grouped them into subcategories or subdivisions, three divisions, so that so they have a better chance of picking up points and winning this thing. The teams will compete with other teams in their division for awards, and the season ends September 30th at midnight. Next slide. So how will it work? The team coaches, we designated lieutenant governors to serve as the team coaches. And of course, due to the clubs being in different A&A groups, lieutenant governors will be working with the three different divisions. And then qualifying is on 7/31, and then that's when the competition actually begins on 7/31. Each club will be asked to submit 3 minimum potential members, only 3 minimum. We call those recruits in this game, per club, to the lieutenant governor and to the membership chairman. The clubs will provide the recruit's name, basic information. We're not going to use this at a district level. It's just so we have some information around the recruits, and they have to provide that in order to participate in the contest. And they have to submit 3 of those. And we actually changed that. We're going to let them submit those even after 7/31. Obviously, if you wait till after 7/31, you've lost some time to gain points in the season. So we did change that. The lieutenant governors, we've asked them to hold weekly calls with the clubs to discuss the process. You'll see throughout this, you know, we've engaged the lieutenant governors pretty heavily in this. They'll be responsible for a lot of the record keeping, and also a lot of the promotion to the clubs, contacting the club. I know Albert's working on some flyers and information. We've already sent some information out, so we'll continue to attack that at the district level. But, you know, there's nothing like a phone call from your lieutenant governor saying, hey, you know, where's your 3 members? What are you doing to get it? And coaching, keyword there, coaching those clubs along to becoming successful in this program. So, Russ, let's go to the next one. So after qualifying, this is how the clubs will score. Each club will get a single or 1 point for each recruit they turn in. Now you remember before I said they had to turn in 3 to qualify, but if they turn in 20 qualified leads, then they get a point for each one of those. You're not limited to 3. So we've asked that each team will get 2 points if they bring that recruit to a meeting. This could be a now meeting. This could be just a regular meeting. We just want to get them before our membership and get them to a club meeting, show them what we do real time, and then hopefully bring them in what we're doing. And when they do that, then they'll email the lieutenant governor and the membership chair to get credit. So they get a triple if they bring 3 recruits to the same meeting. This is where it would be advantageous if the club wanted to have a now or a WOW event. They could schedule that and bring all. If they had 15 recruits, they could get 15 there. They'd get points for having more than 1 recruit there to get credit again. Lieutenant governor and membership chair get grand slam 4 points when they recruit that recruit to join, and they pay the first quarter as a full member. Now here's a caveat. You see that Friend of Optimist doesn't qualify. We feel like in the past, we propped up some of our numbers, and sometimes those are short-term members. And going back to the healthy membership statement, we decided not to allow for scoring the Friend of Optimist. But the word was, if we have a recruit, or if we identify someone like a business or someone who really fits the need to be a Friend of Optimist, we're not going to turn them down. We're going to go ahead and bring them into the fold, get them into familiarization with our organization, but they just don't count as points. So we're not going to turn down. We're not turning off the food category. We're just not counting those in this program. So the next slide is around the prizes. Governor Albert has graciously provided some funding for this through the district. And remember, you've got 3 divisions. So in each division, there'll be a first, second, and third place winner. The first place team gets $150. Second place team gets $75. Third place team gets a $25 gift certificate to the OI online store. We're also going to designate a most valuable player, and that person is a member who sponsors the most new members during the competition, and they'll receive a free registration to a district meeting and a $25 gift certificate. So for our lieutenant governors, who are the managers, we're going to award the lieutenant governor with the greatest percentage of new members as compared to the current zone membership as of August 1st. But we do want them to have some skin in the game and have a little bit of fun in the competition. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. What we're doing is fairly simple, although the record keeping is going to kind of be a little bit of a fun challenge for us. But we think that nothing spurs on good a good growth, a good contest by other than we've done a lot of the things in the past this year, trying to encourage members to our clubs to bring members, but this is the first time we've really come up this year with some competition. So, we're going to have a special outage celebration, and that will probably be at our first district meeting next year in October. And that's when we're going to kind of announce the winners and have a special celebration. The Rome Club, I've talked to the president there, and I think what we're going to do is invite all those new members to honor them and honor the sponsors. But you could do it different twists, different ways with that celebration. So that's pretty much what we're doing, Russ. We're trying to make it fun and trying to make it innovative, and we're trying to close out this year with some good, strong, healthy membership growth.
Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that. As you can see, if you wanted to do something like this, in the last 60 days, Bruce and Governor Albert, they already got a design kind of ahead, and I'm glad I'm sure they'd be glad to help or assist and answer any questions along this line. I'm going to open it up for questions to Bruce real quick. If anybody's got any questions they'd like to ask Bruce, this is just something that the Gateway District has done. Everybody's trying to do a little bit more in the final days. It's always a big push for us, and it all makes a difference. So I'm going to open it up. If anybody has any questions to Bruce, just take yourself off of mute and ask your question.
Russ,
Yep, Marvin.
any consideration giving to net membership? Is, some clubs could add a bunch and then drop some just before the 30th.
Yeah, Marvin, I'm glad. That's a good question. We did consider the net part of it, and we've been using net, for years and years and years, net growth in the couple of things. One is we feel like with the cleanup that we've gone through this year that, there's not going to be a lot of, playing around with the numbers because we've gone through such intense cleanup. The other thing is we wanted to do something a little bit different. We wanted to do focus on getting those good members, those good, healthy members that help us and focus on that rather than just trying to focus on kind of hard to say if you're the membership chairman, and I know we're all measured by our net growth, but turning it around, we're trying to take a new approach. I mean, we're just saying, hey, we need good, healthy clubs with members that want to be with us. We're gonna let the numbers be what the numbers are, and we're not going to focus on the net part. Let's just grow as much as we can, because we're gonna always have that situation where we're gonna have attrition. But let's focus on the growth part. That may or may not be right approach, Marvin, but that's kind of the way we look at it.
Right, but if clubs are being honest, they shouldn't do that. So
Absolutely.
Good question. Any other questions for Bruce?
Bruce, would it be possible, or Russell, to see the second frame of that presentation where where he kind of analyzed his clubs, the new, the lost, number positive, number down? Or is that something that will be sent out or put in the chat box?
Yes, I'm going to send this whole presentation out along with the video so that you'll have a chance to look at it and digest it. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Russ, can you send it in the sections? For example, you had some excellent points. And so with this presentation, maybe there's some more. If you could break those down, maybe we could choose to send them out to different clubs.
Absolutely. It'll be on its way tomorrow morning. Any other questions for Bruce? And Marvin, I'm glad you started asking him questions, because what I said is that, you have a piece of this presentation that you didn't so much know about. So I'm actually going to share your note that you just sent out to everybody here, and I just cut and pasted it. And I just like what this is that, a lot of people are doing a lot of things, and everything makes a difference. And Marvin copies me on some of his distributions to his membership, and this is a letter that Marvin put together for his membership. And Marvin, I just want you, if you can, just take a minute and talk about what your thoughts were and the way for communication, and maybe just talk a little bit about that note that you sent out and why.
Well, one, I'm honored. Is there a way of enlarging it a little bit for the people to see a little bit better, especially for those of us who mature? There you coming. Well, one is too many of us join a club and we become content of where we're at. And they forget about the true meaning of optimism. And President Mark really stressed that at the meeting. And if we truly believe in optimism, then we should be sharing it because we know the difference that it's made in our lives. And as a consequence, if we don't share, as you had in one of your first slides, if we don't grow, we die. And we had an opportunity of listening to Eric Christian from Great Falls, Montana, present some information on their district and his club about their growth. And he said, too many people are afraid of using that very simple letter, 3 letters, ASK. And so we've just got to figure out a way of motivating our clubs. And we realize that 7 to 10% of us are comfortable about recruiting. But if we make an effort and do some education, then we have an opportunity of bringing more people in. And Governor Sandra, who's on, she challenged her, what I call her staff, which is the immediate, treasurer and secretary and her committee members, bring in at least 2 members. Well, I haven't seen that. There's been a few of us. So I hit them up and say, come on, lead by example. And we this year tried something different. We combined the membership, new club building and club health into one group. We called it the growth committee. And the purpose of that was to get some additional people to help support the lieutenant governors so that the lieutenant governors didn't feel that they had to do all of it. Because if they really do a job, there's a lot to be done. And so the growth was meant to specifically narrow in on helping each club build their membership. So this was kind of the basis for this letter that I sent out. I'm trying to figure out a way of motivating these people to get out and bring in new members.
Marvin, thanks. We appreciate that. Again, what I'm doing is just sharing some of the real-time efforts that the districts and the membership teams doing out here in our last, 60, 90 days. Governor Sandra, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? I mean, I heard Marvin say that, you challenges some people. Is that an email, face-to-face, calling your governors? You want to expand on that any?
Yeah, I think that it's probably the same in many districts. People had gotten a little lethargic and unmotivated about really getting out and getting new members and trying to create new projects. Everybody felt kind of, well, there's not much we can do because of COVID, blah, 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 blah. And so we just wanted to make sure that people remember why we are here. And just trying to come up with some creative ways to get people re-engaged in the process, making people accountable to do what they said they were going to do when they agreed to be lieutenant governors or committee chairs. And Marv is the chair of our growth team, and you guys know Marvin. So I always said he's a tough headmaster, but he's willing to get out there and do the work as well. So we're really excited about this. And I think people are hearing what we're trying to do, and we're seeing some action already.
Yeah, that's great. And it's not too late, right? I mean, we're going in.
No.
Why not have a great end of year? And if we're still bringing those members at the beginning of the year, why not have a great beginning of the year, right?
Right.
Hey, Russ, I have one more comment.
Okay.
And this was shared with me by President Mark several years ago when he visited our district. He said, Marvin, if you really want to get the members, you as the governor, especially the governors that are listening, you must make personal contact. You must call these clubs. You must try to also get to the membership. And I think you mentioned that very strongly at our recent Hawaii convention, Russ. And so we are trying very hard to, let's get to these members, let's motivate them and get them to understand the importance. And so contact and emails won't cut it, people. You've got to have eyeball to eyeball and or you've got to make personal phone calls.
Yeah, thank you, Marvin. Governor Sandra, Marvin was telling me something about you got a rock star out there in your district, if I'm not mistaken, that's doing some pretty amazing things. If you wanted to comment on that.
I assume that you're meaning what's going on in
Broken Bow.
Broken Bow. Yes, thank you, Marv.
That's correct.
Broken Bow was one of those clubs that we were a little concerned about. We hadn't heard from them very much in the last year. And then all of a sudden, they brought in a net 12 members within a couple of weeks. And I actually went and visited that club last week. And she simply said to her community through an editorial in the community newspaper that we have this sports club, this sports team tournament that we've been doing for years. And guess who pulls that off? That's the Optimist Club. So community, if you don't support the Optimist Club, there's no Little League for the kids in our community. And people really, really responded. And so they're doing things to build, I guess, camaraderie within that new club. And they're just doing an excellent job. And we certainly commend them. But Russ, at the beginning of July, people were saying, well, we only have 3 months left. I said, no, we have 3 months left. So,
Exactly.
there's still time. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's like past international president Rebecca said, in the Derby, you can come from last to first. And it's not necessarily so important where you end up. It's that you put the time, energy, and effort in, that your heart is with the Optimist organization. And it's so important to you that we can build and share our optimism. And I always say, and past international president Nick says, we save children's lives. And it's through the efforts that we do every day. So I'd like to thank you. I always put people on the spot, Governor, so I apologize for that. But the words are so important when they come straight from the heart, and we appreciate what you got and what you've done. I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions for Governor Sandra, just talking about this, the one club that there was concern about, or anything for Marvin. And then I got one last star that in the last 10 minutes I'm going to bring on here. So Denise, I hope you got your wow thing ready, because I just gave you that 2-minute notice. So anybody got a question for Governor Sandra? Just take yourself off of mute and ask away.
Well, I don't really have a question. I'm happy for you, Governor Sandra and Marvin, for all they're doing of that. But something that was mentioned, maybe it was with Marvin or with this Gateway District, but about that message that says about just ask. Wasn't there, I've been hearing this a bunch over this year, wasn't there a t-shirt that Optimist International used to have that said ask or just ask or something, and people would say, well, what do you mean by that? And then that's how you got it in. I think we seriously need to revisit that, because number one, people love wearing t-shirts. It doesn't matter what generation you're a part of, you love wearing t-shirts. And if something just says just ask, people are going to go, just ask what? So I think that's something we really should brand in membership, continuing on, like starting this year into next year for the future of Optimist, that we should use that again, because that is something so simple and so easy for people to talk or ask you about.
Absolutely. And it's pretty strong. I mean, as Marvin said, them 3 little words, or like add the just to it, the 4, right? So 7, if I'm math correct, it does make a difference. And it is an opener for a lot of different contacts. So I know that the future international membership chair, if I'm not mistaken, is on this call and just happens to be part of this organization and part of our membership team that we've got for this year. Isn't that true? Let's see, who would I be talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's some girl named Denise.
So Denise, what a perfect time to bring you in to just talk about a little bit about WOW. And I know you and Diana have been really busy, but we got about 6 minutes or so to kind of if you want to just talk a little bit about WOW. And that'd be the last important thing we've got. But I wanted to give you some time to at least talk about that for the organization.
Albert, I saw your pins. I remember those pins, the just ask pins. I have some of those too. Yeah, so this time, and I think Russ has talked about it quite a few times, that we're starting to open up, and so in Canada, we've been on a pretty severe lockdown till now, and now they're starting to open stuff up where our kids are starting to get back on the sports fields. We're starting to do stuff, and now is the time. Now is the time to wow our community. So if you're not familiar with WOW, it's called Welcome Optimists Worldwide. And it is a slightly different, I would say it's a very big different idea than the NOW program. So the WOW program is not only for our new members. This is really important because we just talked about net members. But the WOW program is designed to revitalize our current members, recruit new members, and renew our existing commitment to Optimist International and to your Optimist Club. It's really important to stress that when we talk about these WOW programs, like I said tonight, we had a fundraiser for 2 hours. We were there while people were picking up their donuts. We had our banners out. Everyone who came by, we talked about, all the money's going back to the community. This is what we do. Please come and join us. We just found a new spot to meet tonight. We don't have a clubhouse, so we just found a new free spot to meet tonight for all 3 of our clubs. It's about talking to the community and talking to people, and everything you do is a WOW event. Everything you do. I don't care what you do. Have your banners there. Have some pictures. And if we have not presented to your district or your clubs, Diana and I have been doing a lot of presentations over the past few months. We are here to do presentations. This is the great part about Zoom, is even though I'm in Canada and I technically can't get across the border yet, I can still join your district if you're doing a hybrid or a virtual district meeting. And I can talk to you all about WOW, because there's a couple things to keep in mind. For Honor Club and for all of our awards, WOW is the equivalent of NOW. So where our NOW was a big formal banquet or a formal dinner, WOW is anything you want it to be. It could be that you're going to a baseball game. It could be, I love Diana's grab and go dinners that they did in California, where they got their members together. They supported a local restaurant by ordering dinner there, and then they'd go and eat their dinner together in a park, or if the weather was nice enough, or whatever. A WOW is only limited by your imagination. And honestly, we're here to help. We are here to help you run them. We're here to help you organize it. We're here to educate people. And so really, truly, reach out to Russ, reach out to me, reach out to any member of the membership committee, and we are there to help you, because WOW is about strengthening our own clubs, both with new members and our existing members.
Super. Thank you so much. I can't think of who I'm talking to a lot. Denise, thank you so very much. Well, what happens? I see all these people on this screen here, and I'm thinking, okay, who am I talking to? But thank you, Denise. And as Denise said, when I send this recording out, I'll also put the membership team's numbers and email on there, and that way you can get in contact with them. They've done an excellent job throughout the year. They've been really busy, but she's got some great programs that she talks about in the WOW, and gives some great examples, and just kind of brings things home. And as we mentioned, it's not too late. We're as Governor Sandra said, she said we only got 90 days. Well, that's right, you got 90 days. So I love the way she said that, because we got time, as Bruce Peace said, as we build our organization, we want to build an organization full of like-minded people that sign up for the long range for us. And Denise, what you got?
I just want to plug our podcast. Anyone who hasn't listened to it, make sure you listen to it. You can find it on any of your favorite podcast apps that you use. It's on Apple Podcast, it's on Amazon, it's on all of those. You want to listen, because the latest one is called You've Got a Friend in Me. And it's all about the tenet of the creed, where we talk about our friends. So you don't want to miss an episode. We'll be recording our next episode very soon and releasing it. But I always want to put a plug in for our podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, there's so many things going on, sometimes in the background, sometimes in the forefront, when we're trying to work through communication channels that's going on in our organization. And, it's just sometimes we're just not as good as getting it out there so everybody can see it. But thanks for that, Denise. And like I said, we've got multiple of the governors on. If there's any, we got about 2 minutes left or 4 minutes left, I guess. And if we have a governor that wants to just mention something real quick, I'm gonna give those governors that are on the phone a minute to say something if they'd like to address the membership team here. So I'm just gonna say unmute and start talking. Yep, Albert.
Come on me.
Albert.
Yeah, thank you. Local Optimist Club in the town where I live, the last meeting that we had actually was an ice cream social at a local city park. We all met, we advertised to the community that we were going to be there. We brought plenty of ice cream. We brought plenty of our club brochures, and we found more people at the park than we expected, and we gave out plenty of brochures and ice cream and had a great time.
Super. And I like ice cream. Any other governor want to, I know typically we're not shy, the governors, right? So
Hey, Russ.
Yes, sir.
We've got the club in Greensburg. They have a 1 month-long competition, membership recruiting competition, and they split up into 3 teams, actually draft members of the club onto their teams. And then they give points for kind of like the competition that we went over here earlier, give points for bringing in a prospect to a meeting and extra points for actually signing up a new member. And that club added 8 members.
Wow.
In a month. And they do this every month. And if you want, I can send you their format that they use.
Yeah, please do. That's great. So again, we've got, I believe we have plenty of time. Past International President Nick tells me quite often, says, we got plenty of time as long as we get out from behind that table and we start engaging prospects and start talking to people. And as Marvin said, all we got to do is just ask. So if we can do that, we have the opportunity to really turn the organization around, be really situated well for coming into the new year's. And like I said, we only need 1.0002 members per club. So it doesn't sound too bad when you only talk about 1 member, right? And don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to send a note out. Don't be afraid to get your governors involved, your lieutenant governors. It's been a great year. We're excited about ending the year positively and beginning the year on a great start also. So unless anybody has a last minute observation or comment, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to think about it. Anybody have anything else to add?
I'll jump in.
Jump in.
I'll jump in. I'm soon to be the bald governor of Sinon. They raised we're just a couple $100 away from shaving my head. So right now I got the mohawk. In a few days, I will be chrome.
Wow.
So
I'd like to see more of that. Now that's a commitment.
I'm going to be painting like Optimist symbols on my scalp and whatever. But I just wanted to mention that when you do, if you send out a district newsletter, make sure you give a shout out to the clubs that add members. I have a section of my newsletter. I know because Sean was talking about how much he liked it. There's a section called Way to Grow, and I list the clubs who've added members. I don't list I'll say where we're at, but I'll say, way to grow, Cornwall added 3, this club added 1, whatever. So each month they get to see which clubs are actually doing the work, and it goes out to the whole district.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see you bald. Make sure you get me that picture. I can't wait to see that. Now that's a commitment to optimism. So I got to hand it to you. So thank you
I
for
got
that.
shirts made so that they don't think like, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate everybody for being here. I'm going to have another meeting next month. We'll keep going till we got to keep going. And I'll bet you, Denise, the new international membership chair coming in, will continue some of the great things that we've got going. Thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
I probably won't be on next time, Russ, because we'll be at my convention probably.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again for everything that you're doing. And we look forward to seeing you again. And bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Russ.